It's the general manager's job to construct a team for training camp, but he can't help what happens once it begins. 10 days into camp, Jon Robinson's team is still without one of its best offensive linemen, its top receiver and top pass rusher from a year ago. And then this week, the Titans lost starting safety Jonathan Cyprien for the season. That's when Robinson went back to work. We caught up with the Titans GM to get his point of view on training camp. With Titans General Manager Jon Robinson. And Jon, every year you worry about injuries during a training camp. Unfortunately, the injury bug seems to have bitten your team pretty badly, especially this week when Jonathan Cyprien went down. You make the move today to bring Kenny Vaccaro in. How big of a challenge is that when you lose a key cog and you have to go find somebody else?
Well, I mean, it's tough for us as a team. It's tough for a guy like Sip, who's really worked hard this offseason and was having a really good camp. To lose a guy like him and Ty Smith, who's a key player for us on fourth down, and late in the season at corner last year, it's hard to replace those guys. But that's part of our charge, is to have that ready list ready. Fortunately for us, Kenny was out there and able to come in. He certainly played a lot of snaps in this league and played pretty well. That's why he was on our radar. It'll be how quickly he associates with the defense, gets back in football shape. I mean, he's been doing DB drills back at home, but it's different when you're out here at practice.
I imagine you're keeping close tabs on everybody in the training room right now, but two guys we haven't seen anything of this preseason, Rashard Matthews and Jack Conklin. How concerned are you about their situations, and at what point do you have to see them out here to make the call of what the beginning of the season is going to look like for those guys?
Both of those guys have played a lot of good football for us. We're doing stuff with them on the side to get them as close to football shape as possible. But whenever our doctors and trainers tell us they're ready to go, that's when we'll move on that.
The good news is Marcus Mariota is healthy and 100%. That's a far cry from where he was at the start of training camp a year ago. How much different does your quarterback look to you in your eyes?
Yeah, certainly having a full off season where he's healthy and he's not, spending time rehabbing has been really good. He's really gotten back to the basics, if you will. I can see him sliding and moving in the pocket as opposed to, trying to run out of the back or scramble to try to make a play. He's trusting his instincts, and he's having a good camp so far.
Everybody looks at the roster as a whole, but two areas that have kind of jumped out is the young guys at receivers and then the back end in the secondary, which for a long time around here has been one of the weaknesses. Is that now a strength of this team in your mind?
We've got a lot of good position groups on this football team, but the back end with the addition of Malcolm and again, losing Sip was tough, but we had Kenny. We'll see where that's at. Dory, Logan, Kevin Byard had a great year last year. Hopefully he can pick up where he left off. And this young receiver group, these four rookie free agent guys are really competing. Corey's having a good camp. Taywan Taylor's having a good camp. Having Tajay's back is good for us. So I think getting used to the new offense, the terminology, the system that we're going to run offensively has taken some time, but I feel like we're kind of hitting some strides now as we get further into camp.
What is the impact that Mike Vrabel and his staff meant to this team in the time since you hired him?
Yeah, I think he's really stepped into the role and simplified the message for the guys. It's often been said, he said know what to do and play fast, aggressive for the players. He's sat in every seat that those players have sat in. He's got great command of the room. He's very demanding, but he listens to them too, and I know they appreciate that.
Lastly, your job every year is to build the most competitive football team as you possibly can. Still got to get it down to 53 at some point, but of the 90 out here through 2 weeks of training camp, how close did you get to what you envisioned the Tennessee Titans looking like?
Well, I think you always want to try to do better. That's the goal for yourself. The players, coaches, whatever it may be, in an NFL organization, you always want to strive to do better. But I'm really proud of the 90 guys that we've got. It's a close group. It's a hardworking group. It's a group that's really been committed to the style of football that we want to play. And we've got some tough decisions as we go into preseasons.
Jon Robinson, thanks for the time.
Thank you.